Hey guys, welcome back to my Animal Adventures YouTube channel. And to kick things off, I want to show you this hatchling that I produced from last year. This is a ball python. It is actually a male bamboo pastel calico. And look at what a beauty this guy is. He is ridiculous. I can't even believe when I started pairing up my bamboo with my pastel calico, I didn't even imagine that I could pop something like this out. This is just, I've never actually seen something like this. This is like the crown jewel of my whole collection. And actually, when I first started breeding ball pythons, I had no idea that I would even consider having to fight for my rights to keep and breed these animals. And if you watched one of my videos just about a week ago, I was talking about Senate Bill 167, the Rhode Island all animal ban. And they want to ban all animals non-native to Rhode Island, and let me tell you, that is just the tip of the iceberg. I've seen some other stuff come out recently that is just ridiculous. And in this episode, I kind of want to go through some of that. There's actually one city that is trying to ban all constrictor snakes. They would ban ball pythons, corn snakes, and they're even throwing in hognose snakes. And I'm going to tell you about it in this video. Okay, so I just want to take a few minutes and tell you about some of the proposed bans, and some of them are specific only to certain cities, and some of them affect an entire state. And the first one is in Wausau, Wisconsin, the city of Wausau, and believe it or not, they're proposing a ban on all constrictor snakes. Let me tell you that you wake up one morning and your ball python is illegal, or your corn snake, or your boa, your reticulated python, any snake that actually wraps and constricts the prey would be against the law. And they're also throwing in rear fang venomous. And if you've been working with the hognose snakes, you know it's not medically significant. Hardly anyone really ever gets bit from a hognose. They typically have the kind of a fake bite. they don't really bite you most of the time. And if they do bite you, I've seen a little bit of swelling in the hand as far as the worst thing you can possibly expect from a hognose. And a hognose is actually considered rear fang venomous, and it would actually be banned if they passed this bill. Alright, so how about this one? I couldn't even make this stuff up. It's so ridiculous. If you live in the state of Arkansas, they're actually considering a 3-tiered system, either unrestricted, permitted, or prohibited. And already they put the PacMan Frog on the permitted classification. So if you have a PacMan Frog, you have to register your PacMan Frog, and you have to actually register it every single year, and the registration can be as much as $75 a year just to keep your PacMan Frog. And you also need a permit to bring it into the state. You also need a permit to breed it or sell it. Let me tell you, that is ridiculous, and that's basically what it's really doing is it's regulating us out of owning PacMan. Sure, you can own a PacMan, but who's going to jump through all the hoops, spend all the money just to keep a PacMan Frog? As a matter of fact, I get pretty fired up about this because I actually own 5 PacMan Frogs. And let me tell you, if something like that passed in Colorado, I would not own PacMan Frogs. They would regulate me out of keeping these amazing animals. Alright, so how about this one? In the state of New Hampshire. If you're from New Hampshire, they're proposing a bill. This one is actually, if you transfer or sell one animal, a cat or a dog, or an amphibian or a reptile, even just one animal, you are considered a hobby breeder. You have to register with the state. You have to have your place open for inspections. You have to keep records on each individual animal. It's just multiple layers of bureaucracy. It's pretty ridiculous. I can't even believe just one animal. And if you breed and sell more than 30 animals, there's additional layers of regulation. You definitely don't want that one to pass. Okay, so that wraps up my discussion of some of the proposed changes to the laws in some of these cities and states. And let me tell you, if you don't live in these cities or states, you can still take action. There's a website you can go to, www.usarc.org. That's USARK. And they have all the information there about everything, all the changes. They actually just put out a monthly newsletter. It has a whole summary, and you can actually send emails, and you can do phone calls, faxes, letters. And as a matter of fact, when I put out the Senate Bill 167 just about a week ago, there's a lot of people commenting that they actually took action and are fighting for our rights to keep and breed and transport and display some of these animals. And let me tell you, at the level that I'm on, with all these ball pythons and frogs and all my animals, if something like that came to Colorado, I would definitely consider moving out of state just to keep my animals. And if it actually affected the entire United States, I'd actually consider moving out of the country just to keep my animals. It'd be a different story if I just had one snake, but since I have, a really big breeding operation here, and I couldn't even imagine something like that coming down in the state of Colorado. To me, it would actually be totally devastating. All right, so for the last part of this video, I'm going to work with my big reticulated pythons. And let me tell you, if you live in the state of Florida, by the way, reticulated pythons are banned. So all you can do really is watch me here in Colorado work with my big retics. And I've been pairing them up this year, trying to actually get some eggs and hopefully some hatchlings this fall. And I've been feeding Lucy this week. The last 2 weeks, she's eaten like 10 rats. She's really full of food and getting her ready to go on a long breeding fast. Sometimes the snakes can fast for 6 months at a time. And reticulated pythons typically have a really high metabolism, so they can burn through that energy really fast. And today I'm going to take Sunny out of this enclosure and I'm going to move it over to Lucy and I'm going to pair them up. It's always pretty exciting to see how these snakes react. So Sunny, he's actually a purple albino super dwarf reticulated python. He weighs about 25 pounds. I'm going to pick him up, move him over to Lucy and pair him up, and we'll see how they react to each other. Alright, so here I go. Wish me luck. I'm going to try to take this boy out of here. Oh, he's over on this side. Whoa. That kind of surprised me. Alright, buddy. Here we go. Here we go. We'll see how this goes. Oh, he's bolting. Whew. Alright, buddy. Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, he's kind of freaking out. Wow, he's got some power to him. Oh. Yeah. Whew. Alright. Here we go. This guy's always a handful. Wow, I can't get him off the tub. Look at how big this guy is. He's a beast. It's amazing how much power this snake has. Wow. Whew. He's wrapped around me now. He's a monster. Alright. Here we go, here we go. Ooh. Wow. Whew. So I have to tell you, this male retic, he has always been pretty flighty and pretty wild. When I first got him, he would go ballistic when I pick him up as a hatchling. He's never really tame, and it seemed like I really haven't handled him as an adult, and he's just really crazy ballistic. He actually musked on me. I don't know if you've ever... Lucy's kind of jumping and he's kind of freaking out. But he actually released the scent from his scent gland and it got really stinky. I thought he peed on me at first. Sometimes when they freak out, they can pee and musk. And garter snakes will do that too. If you actually pick up a wild garter snake just from the wild, it'll actually musk. And a king snake will do that too. Just kind of release a kind of a snake-smelling scent, and this guy hasn't musked on me for a long time. Ever since I had him as a hatchling, this is probably the first time he hasn't musked in his adult life up until today. It's pretty amazing. He's like trying to figure out where he's at now, coming from that other tub. These guys are so beautiful. I think I kind of surprised him when I grabbed him and picked him up. I probably did it a little too fast. I should have taken a little more time with him to kind of get him accustomed to being handled. Just look at how beautiful he is. It's amazing. Can't decide if I like the white albino better or the purple albino. The purple albino has the purple and the white spots. And the babies will actually have one copy of the purple gene. It'll actually be a lavender albino, which would be pretty interesting to see what the babies look like. So some people will actually say leaving the sheds in from the female will actually stimulate the male to breed. And this is the first time I've actually seen a male snake stop and smell the sheds. It's pretty interesting. I've never actually seen that before. I've heard it, and I've seen you can leave the shed in the tub, but I've never actually had a big enclosure where the male will actually stop and smell the shed. So it looks like Lucy is starting to move. She's always so cool when she starts moving. It's almost mesmerizing. She is getting really big too. Okay, so that is the fun that I have with my reticulated pythons, and let me tell you, Sonny, he is a handful. He's only 25 pounds, but he gets a little skittish. He starts bolting when I pick him up. I think what I really need to do is just pick him up and hold him for about an hour to really have him get used to me so he's not really flighty. And this is the first time he really musked on me, so I think it's definitely time to work with them a little bit more. And keep in mind, with these reticulated pythons and the ball pythons, the frogs, and everything I have here, this stuff coming down, the proposed bills, it really affects me a lot. And let me tell you, if it comes to your town, it can affect you too. So go to US ARC and check out the site, see the action items, and fight for our rights to keep these animals. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.